Hey everybody, I'm Philip, and this is take 3 of recording this for y'all, because my camera hates me. Let's talk about SummerSlam 2020. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch this show. I intimated as such on the NXT review for a couple reasons. One, I have not been following main roster for a while now, mostly due to the fact there's no crowd, and I'm someone that feeds off of a crowd and the energy from the crowd, and the fact that there's no crowd just makes it really not fun to watch. Also, the piped in crowd noises they've been using, and not just the crowd noises, just it's been extra fakey sounding and on a loop. If you listen close enough, the audience reaction noises that they pipe in are on a loop. It's really annoying. And then this new Thunderdome thing, neat idea that they took from Sports Ball, but it was really awkward. I caught some clips of SmackDown, which is how I've been keeping up on the main roster stuff, is clips on YouTube. So I saw some clips of SmackDown and watched the big screen. It was just a giant screen with a bunch of faces, and it was really kind of headache-inducing, and it was distracting, and neat idea, but they needed to kind of tweak it. So I wasn't sure going into SummerSlam if I was going to watch and for how long, but I ended up watching almost all of it. So let's talk about SummerSlam. The first match was Bayley versus Asuka for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. This is Asuka's first of 2 matches on the night as she challenges for both titles. This match was decent. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. They gave them about 20 minutes, which I was really shocked by since Asuka's wrestling twice tonight. But it gave the match time to kind of breathe and, for the women to do their thing in the ring. They have decent chemistry, and I think Bayley is an amazing heel. I know there's a lot of hate right now online for Bayley and Sasha kind of dominating, but that's all really Vince knows how to do is give like 1 or 2 people. And since both Charlotte and Becky are out right now with injury and pregnancy respectively, finally Bayley and Sasha are getting their chance to shine. So I'm not really complaining too much. But then again, I don't watch every week, like all 100 hours of programming that they put out. Nothing really remarkable in this match other than the ending for me. So the ending came when Asuka was going to do her hip attack, and both Bayley and Sasha were on the ring apron, and then Sasha took the move for Bayley, and then Bayley got back in and was able to pin Asuka. Kind of what if I was to do predictions for the videos, or for pay-per-views rather, I would have said that this is what would happen, that Sasha would have sacrificed herself for Bayley to win, but then later on the inverse might not be true. And we'll get to that. Bayley retains in a decent match that went about 20 minutes, and really awesome to see them give the women this much time on pay-per-view and in general. So yeah, not bad. Next we have, for the Raw Tag Team Championships, we have the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Full disclosure, I did not stick around for the entirety of this match. I don't like the Street Profits. I love Montez Ford. I think he is a star in the making. I do not like Angelo Dawkins. I have not liked him pre-Street Profits. He just rubs me the wrong way. And then the whole Angel and Andrade thing, they keep, they're building up to this tension between them, and they keep messing up in matches and stuff like that. And then the whole poisoning thing to Montez, which just... And can we do something with Bianca Belair, please? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But the match itself, I didn't watch all of it. I got kind of bored. I'm sorry. I went and made food during the match. I didn't check it out. But the Street Profits, in surprising fashion to me, retained the Tag Team Championships, because if I were going to predict it, I would have said that this was when Andrade and Angel finally get the tag titles, but they didn't. Then we have a match that was hair versus hair, and then it was turned into loser leaves WWE between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. I do like how WWE kind of altered the match to fit what happened in real life to these two. Like, the fact that they're even wrestling on the pay-per-view was just hats off to both ladies. But the match itself was not very good. So yeah, the fact that they went through like this whole crazy ordeal in the past week with a stalker and having to flee the scene, and the person having like dangerous weapons on them, and just the implications. The fact that they even showed up and had this match, kudos to both women, but you could tell it really, really rattled Mandy, especially. Sonya came out looking like the second coming of Victoria, which is grabbing her head and looking all crazy. That was cool. Like, yeah. And another thing is the hype package before the match. I haven't watched in depth, as said, so I didn't really see the whole storyline that was ebbing and flowing to SummerSlam. But holy crap, when did Sonya Deville get so good? This is one of two storylines in WWE that I wish there were crowds for, because I think this would really put Sonya over as an elite level performer. Her mic work is good. Her character acting is good. She doesn't feel like MMA cosplayer anymore. She feels like an actual character. And as someone who is also representing our community, I think it's awesome. We have like someone legit that isn't like a disrespectful stereotype being represented. And I think it's great. But as I said, the match wasn't very good. And Mandy did end up winning after a few of her knees. But I'm going to give this match a pass. Both women get a free pass on this night. Like I said, good on you for showing up and even having the match. Good on WWE for altering the stipulation. Sonya does lose, so she is going to leave WWE. And I hope it's more storyline, and I hope it's just a temporary thing for both of them to kind of step back and recover from what happened. And I hope that this didn't rattle either one of them to the degree that they don't want to perform anymore. Because Mandy has so much potential and Sonya is hitting her stride, and sky's the limit in my opinion for her. Take a break, heal yourself, and then come back better and stronger than ever, because you have a place in the women's division and a unique spot that no one else can take, and I hope that Sonya comes back. So this next match came with a lot of intrigue and some really actually decent storytelling other than a few snafus. We had Dominik Mysterio versus Seth Rollins in Dominik's first pay-per-view match. I think first legit match. But Dominik did good. This match was actually surprisingly good. I mean, I don't know if I say surprisingly, but kind of surprisingly. I wasn't as skeptical of what Dominik could do in the ring as I was of Pat McAfee, because we've actually seen Dominik get physical in the ring way more. But this match still did a great job, and for me was match of the night. This match was so good. Yes, Dominik is green, and I don't even like Seth Rollins, but he is such a good ring general and used his abilities and his knowledge to help guide the match and guide Dominik. There was one point where they were both down on the ground, and you could hear Seth Rollins say, "Frog splash, buddy, frog splash." And I just went, "Aw," because it was so cute. And on the shallow side of things, I've seen a lot of people making fun of and complaining about Dominik's ring gear. I thought it looked fine. I thought they did a good job of covering up his lack of definition. If I had to make one change, I would say make the hood detachable, like with Velcro or snaps or something, so you can just take it off when the match starts. Other than that, it looked cool. I'm glad he didn't come out looking like his dad or wearing a mask or anything like that. I think it's cool that he came out looking like his own person, his own entity, his own superstar kind of thing, and he wasn't just like, Rey Mysterio 2.0. Overall, it was a really good match with the storytelling in this match was really good, with Rey on the outside, and eventually Rey's getting handcuffed and having to watch Seth and Murphy, nobody here, just beat up his son. And then eventually Dom's mom, Rey's wife, comes out, and then that whole thing with Seth, and then the last 5 minutes were just so good. And in the end, the right person won, as Seth eventually hit his stomp onto Dominik right in front of Rey. And it was so effective because Rey's still handcuffed to the ropes this entire time. Whoever booked the match did a really good job. Go check this match out. I like to say if you watch any match from a show, watch this one. This is the one. Go check this match out. It was really, really good. Next we have, for the Raw Women's Championship, in Asuka's second match of the night, Asuka versus Sasha Banks. I love watching Sasha and Asuka wrestle. The chemistry they have is off the charts. They're just so fast and explosive and fluid, and they work so well together. And they both can bump so well. Sasha's bumping, while scary at times, is just one of the best bumpers, not just in the women's division, in my opinion, but in the company. She's so good. She can just sell things and make it look like death. And they just work so well together. And while I don't think this is as good as their previous matches, this was still pretty damn good. It went about 15 minutes or so. So if I clocked it right, Asuka wrestled half an hour combined tonight. So, wow. There was a lot of good back and forth between them because they worked so well together. The scariest moment in the match, though, was much like Cameron Grimes on TakeOver the previous night, took a sunset flip powerbomb onto a ladder. Well, both Asuka and Sasha were on the ring apron, and then Sasha does a sunset flip type thing into a powerbomb to Asuka onto the floor. And the thud of Asuka's head and back hitting the mat was just... ugh. As someone who is suffering from a head, neck, back injury, those things are hard to watch. And how she wasn't concussed, I don't know. So I want to say good on her for taking the move, but at the same time, no. It looked brutal and it was effective, but man, it was tough to watch. My favorite part of the match was the ending sequence. The Asuka lock into the bank statement transitions were flawless. They were so good, and an example of how I said they work so well together. Ending came... I don't like it being as copycat as the Bayley match, but the ending came when Bayley and Sasha were on the ring apron. Asuka was going to do her attack, and then instead of Bayley taking the hit for the team, Bayley moved, and then eventually Asuka locks in the Asuka lock. Bayley had already been knocked off the ring apron, and then Sasha's locked in the Asuka lock, yelling for Bayley for her help, and Bayley's, on the floor, can't get there, and yeah, Sasha taps out. And Asuka is our new Raw Women's Champion. 2 points about this match. Number 1, shouldn't have taken the title off Asuka in the first place. Number 2, can Sasha defend a championship successfully once, please? You could have given her some throwaway title defense on Raw, but this is the first time it's happened where I actually agree with it. So it's kind of double-edged sword there. Of the 2 Asuka matches, this was my favorite. Next we have, for the WWE Championship, we have Drew McIntyre defending his title against Randy Orton, who has been on a tear doing his Legend Killer thing again. This was a solid match, a very solid match, but I also kind of tuned out. I'm not the biggest Randy Orton fan. I like his character work, but when he gets in the ring, it's just boring. He just doesn't ever bump up into that next gear, which is kind of a thing it's a WWE thing in general. I didn't take any notes from this match at all because I was just kind of zoned out. The end comes when Randy is going for his draping DDT, hits it. He's going to go for the RKO, decides against it, goes back for the punt, misses, and then Drew hits a backslide on Randy Orton to retain the title. 2 things from this. 1, I'm glad Drew retained because I don't want to see his reign end yet because he's doing such a good job, and I don't think Randy Orton needs another title reign. 2, I think it's cool. I don't like the backslide finish, but I think it's cool that neither man hit their finishing move, like their kill shot, to put the other one down. So it wasn't like a finisher kick out fest like we've seen in other matches before. And I think this sets up a match for them at Payback if they want to do it, where Randy can say, "You got lucky with the backslide. The only reason I didn't win is because I didn't hit you with the RKO." And I think neither man hitting their finishing move sets up that rematch where he can, kind of call Drew out, and Drew being the proud, babyface champion is going to be, I'll prove to you that I can beat you then, again. So there's not much more I can say about that one. It was what it was. I'm glad Drew retained, and we're probably going to see a rematch for the reasons that I stated at Payback in a week, because the next pay-per-view is in a week for some reason. So moving on. All right, let's go to the main event. The main event of the show is for the Universal Championship, the cursed title. It is The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, challenging the champion, Braun Dork Marksler Strowman. And it wasn't very good. I didn't really care for this match. The shine on The Fiend has been really just dimmed for me ever since the Goldberg fiasco. Yes, they did a lot to rectify that at Mania with Cena, which was really good. But even then, it just doesn't feel the same. I like how Braun was tainted by the swamp fight, which was a god-awful match. The fact that he has been corrupted and he's turning, he's kind of turning heel. But this didn't do it for me. And I think, you have all this intrigue with Alexa, and then to not use her at all was weird. The match just kind of clunked along. It kind of felt like the Orton Edge match for Mania, just with more brutal spots. We saw multiple running power slams and kickouts. We saw Sister Abigail in the back kick out. Eventually we get back to the ring and Braun gets a box cutter and cuts the canvas off of the ring and rips up the padding to show the boards underneath, and then is going to do a power slam. Fiend gets out, hits 2 Sister Abigails for the win, and is our new Universal Champion. So cool, I guess. Should never have lost the title in the first place, but yeah. And I think it's kind of disappointing because I was looking forward to this match, and it just did not deliver for me personally. Then the tagline for the show, you'll never see it coming. And I didn't. As someone enters the ring and starts beating the crap out of everybody, it's Roman Reigns. Dude is back. Good on him. But he looks weird. But it's Roman, and he just started wrecking everybody. He spears the Fiend. He spears Strowman. He takes a chair and beats the crap out of Strowman. He's talking smack the entire time. Like, telling Strowman, you're not a monster without me. I made you. He said something to the Fiend to the effect of, you're just a messed up dude in a mask. It was cool. It was cool. And this was the Roman Reigns we needed to see a long time ago. Just the take no crap, kicking butt, just wrecking everyone. It was cool. Like, I'm not even a Roman Reigns fan. I like the real guy, Joe. Cool dude. And props to him for everything he's been through and for coming back. But the Roman Reigns character has been completely just mishandled ever since the Shield broke up. Like, Roman had an edge to him. He had like a mean streak almost. It didn't feel forced or manufactured. It felt like organic. And I've always said, if you let Roman be who he is and dial it up to 11, you've got something special there. And I hope this is the start of that, because it was really freaking awesome. I could have done without the Kevin Dunn special, the camera going every time Roman was using the chair or punching people. I started getting motion sickness. Please stop doing that. But yeah, it was really cool end to a show that overall exceeded my expectations. I was not expecting SummerSlam to be this good. It's kind of crazy how a show can feel when you do logical, sensible booking. Every booking decision made sense. And it wasn't a swerve for the sake of a swerve or a screwy finish just to have it. I was expecting a night full of them with Payback being in a week. But they really didn't do that. Yeah, I think another reason this show felt so easy to digest and watch is because there's only like 7 matches on the main card. And that's such a far cry from the 13, 14 match slogs we've gotten used to. And yeah, it was way better than I expected it to be. I had very low expectations, and it exceeded them by a very large margin. That wraps up the discussion of SummerSlam 2020. It was a very entertaining show. I need to go get reacquainted with the air conditioner because it is currently off. It is hot as hell in here. I'm starting to sweat, so I will see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.